So Rick Rubin said, go to my library, pick out a book, look at the first thing you see. First thing he saw was Father, into your hands I commend my spirit, and that became the line in the song.
Interesting.
How about that?
Wow.
I know, right?
Learn something every day.
Joining us right now, ex-KHTKer. Well, are you really ever an ex-KHTKer?
You're always.
He's always, yeah. And UC Davis alum, all-around great guy. Always, I'll leave that part out. And old friend of ours, Eric Hasseltine. Good morning, Eric.
Well, way to mispronounce my name,
sorry.
but thank you. I mean, that was just a rousing, first of all, piece of information on the song. I had no clue, and you weren't waiting for me. I was already there, but thank you. Your producer was actually on time, so that's something you should strive for a little bit more in your world there, my friend. It's good to talk to you guys. Two of my favorite people in Sacramento. How are you both?
Two of my favorite people in the station.
In the morning.
Right.
Dude,
we're good.
I don't know how you guys do it. I did that for about a year with our first flagship in Memphis, and the team then kind of broke away and went to a new station. And the manager of the other station, when I decided to go with the team, called me and said, well, boy, we had it planned out for you to do the same thing this season where you were on the mornings and covering the games. I'm like, I got to be honest with you, that's not really a selling point for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Appreciate it, though. I'm glad you were thinking of my well-being when you decided to make that decision.
Well, you're a guy that can think of other people's well-beings. That's why we love you so much. So I want you to help me and Jason, because we were going over something earlier with a probable starting lineup of De'Aaron Fox and Kevin Huerter, along with Keegan Murray getting his first start tonight, Harrison Barnes and Domantas Sabonis. Unless Ja Morant and De'Aaron Fox are covering each other, which I'm not sure they will be, how do you possibly try to slow down Ja? What is the best way to slow down Ja Morant? We need the scouting report. Help us.
If you can figure it out, let me know. He's playing at another level again this year. He has great starts to the season. Last year, in the last 3 years, basically, even his rookie year, I think he had the highest point total in over 2 games of any Grizzly player. And then this year, obviously, he had 49 in the second game in Houston after a 34-point opening night performance in a great game with the New York Knicks. And then tapered off a little on the second night of the back-to-back, but then again was sensational the other night at home as the final game before this road trip kicks off. So, look, he went right at the Brooklyn Nets, and he got it going early. He's just right now playing incredibly confident basketball, and the thing that's helping him is, as he will tell you, in the dark. That's his big phrase of the work he does off the season when no one sees. He calls it getting into the dark. In the dark this offseason, all he did was really, other than condition, but he really worked on his 3-point shot, and it's evident there's a little different mechanical way that he releases the ball now. He's shooting 60%. He's not going to shoot 60% for the season. But we've always said from the time we saw him in the first game of his career to up till now, if he ever gets really consistent with that 3-point shot, look out, because there's just no way to stop him. And his ball handling skills continue to improve. He's going through crowds, guys, where he puts the ball around his back in just a millisecond, it feels like. And really good defenders are just kind of left hugging air. So if you figure out a way to defend him, I know about 29 teams, including yours right here, that would love to sit you down and give you a little consultant's fee for that, because there's not a real way to stop him, I don't think.
Hey, all guests coming to you from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop, as Eric Hasseltine joins us. Eric, to me, the sign of a really good team is when you can win when you're not complete. And Memphis showed that last year when Ja was out, how well they did. Right. Well, you guys aren't even complete now, winning without Jaren Jackson Jr. How does Memphis consistently do this without key players still finding their way?
Well, Steven Adams was asked that question a lot last year, and he's a frightening human being if you stand next to him. He's an oversized Aquaman, as we say, and just in this very gentle New Zealand accent, he said, it's the system. And it is the system. And it's not just Jaren Jackson Jr. For the first 3 games, they didn't have Dylan Brooks, who is arguably their best perimeter defender, also the most hated Grizzly in any arena every time we go in there, which is hilarious, but he loves that. And they also have been missing Zaire Williams, and just got word he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks, which is too bad, because that's a young man that last year looked like a deer in the headlights in the first part of the season. By the end of the year, he had played 72 games, starting 36 of them, and really helped contribute in those two playoff series, one against Minnesota and then against Golden State. So they've always had this next man up philosophy. And the Taylor Jenkins has done a remarkable job with making the game fun for these guys. And on top of that, holding them accountable. And when you hear players on a roster sound like the coaches when they describe what's going on, then the message has gotten through. And, the other factor is they all buy in. Once upon a time, Lionel Hollins told me the hardest thing to, when he was our head coach, to get guys to do is accept roles. None of these guys got to the NBA because they were second and third options growing up and in high school and usually in college. They were the stars. They were the guys that had the ball in their hands. They were the guys scoring, 25 to 30 a game. And when you needed a bucket, these are the guys you turn to. Well, you can only have one or two of those guys on your NBA roster. And everybody wants to be that guy, but there's only a couple of them. Now you elevate that to where these guys want that. That's what they've been doing all of their lives. And if they can't change it, then it's a different look. So these guys have all bought into that. They've done a remarkable job, I think, in the front office of structuring the roster and being willing to tell guys, hey, we're gonna move you to another place where maybe you get more opportunity. That happened with Grayson Allen in a trade to the Milwaukee Bucks. And he's giving the Bucks significant minutes, but they had a decision to make. Do we want to keep Grayson Allen or do we want to keep Desmond Bane? And what they saw out of Desmond Bane made Grayson Allen expendable. And I thought they learned a valuable lesson that first year they made a playoff series, because in Taylor Jenkins and Ja Morant's first season, they got to the bubble and lost in the play-in game to Portland. The next year they made the play-in series after beating Golden State in the play-in game. And they were trying to play 11, 12 guys, and it just wasn't working. Well, Utah, albeit the better of the two teams for that matter anyway, but they played 8. The number one seed in the Western Conference is playing 8 guys, maybe sprinkling a ninth, and they dominated the series. And I think they learned a valuable lesson about sometimes you have to condense that roster. Sometimes you have to, give up a guy to let another guy flourish, and they've done that. So it's been remarkable. Jaren, hopefully we'll be back soon. But, again, it's another guy last year that looked like a deer in the headlights coming from Loyola, Maryland to the NBA, and Santi Aldama. And the difference in his game this year as compared to last year is night and day. He looks so much more comfortable. And so I think it's a testament to the players themselves for working hard and staying ready. And it's also a testament to your development staff to get these guys to a level where they can help you win basketball games in the NBA.
Eric Hasseltine joining us. Eric, last thing for you. Dylan Brooks got on the floor finally in your last game. What does he mean to this team? What's his main cog function? And really in a matchup situation, this just all seems everything's a matchup nightmare for the Kings right now, Eric. But Dylan Brooks always ticks me off.
Well, first of all, I think it's going to be I do hope Fox and Morant go toe-to-toe. And De'Aaron Fox has really played very well against the Grizzlies over the years. I think he takes it to heart that Ja gets a lot of attention, and De'Aaron feels like he's a player, that's on that similar level, and he wants to prove it. And I love his game. So I think that's going to be fun to watch. But Dylan's our dog, our go out and try to disrupt the flow of your offense guy. But he also can score. He did not have a good shooting night his first game back. That was not surprising. And, not sure exactly how his injury occurred, because he looked okay in the preseason and played the final preseason game for the Grizz. And then all of a sudden he was out, and they were trying to get him ready, if possible, for that Dallas game, because he gives you a big defender on the wing, and you need that against the Mavericks when they have Luka Doncic with the ball in his hand. He gets in guys' faces. I joked the other night because he was John with Kevin Durant, and I said, that may not be the rattlesnake you want to tap on the back of the head and see his reaction. And of course, Durant went bananas, but it gets guys going. And, he's prone sometimes to take a shot that's probably not your first, second, or even third option, but you kind of live with that. And I'll give him credit because he does understand the flow of the game. He works incredibly hard. He was out after the game working on his shot after the game was over when, the arena had cleared out. He looked out on the court. There's Dylan Brooks going back out there trying to figure out why it didn't go well. And that's kind of the nature of who he is. But towards the end of the game when it was tight, he had an open shot and realized Desmond Bain was absolutely on fire and gave up the open shot to make the extra pass. So he understands the game. He'll bring that to the table. You now get a better defender. As tough as John Conchar is, and maybe a lot of your listeners don't know exactly who John is, coming from a small school at Fort Wayne, but a solid player. But Dylan's just a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, a little bit quicker, and can take that tougher defensive assignment. And so it gives Taylor Jenkins a little more added depth, and I think it gives the defense a little bit more comfort and security, knowing that he's out there kind of harassing your best player. Now, whether tonight he's on Harrison Barnes or whether he's on Keegan Murray, who looks like a terrific young player out of Iowa, that will remain to be seen. But whoever he is guarding, better be sure he's going to be chirping at him, and your fans are going to be chirping right back at Dylan and giving him the business, and that's the way he loves it.
That's Eric Hasseltine. We are way out of time, but tons of great info. By the way, John Conchar, he signed that record contract with the Hawks about 30 years ago. Everybody knows who that is. Eric, we will
John contact, but great information there, buddy.
We'll see you there tonight. I'll be there with the family. Looking forward to kissing you on the cheek and shaking your hand.
I look forward to seeing you guys as well. I'm looking forward to catching up with the family as well. Jay Ross, always good to catch up with you guys.
Yes.
And thank you for having me.
Hey, thank you. Talk to you later.
All right, you got it.
Bad luck to your team. Bye-bye.
Wow.
Sorry. Well, I'm sorry. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Right? We'll take a break. When we come back,